What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lou Streets, and I'm back with another video. I hope you guys don't hear my AC humming too loudly in the background, but it's a really hot day. I have to have this thing going because it's entirely too hot where I live. But let's get to the Mortal Kombat news, right? So I'm looking at the registration leaderboard for EVO this year, EVO 2025. And as we see, the numbers are Street Fighter has 4,200 players, Tekken has 2,500, Fatal Fury has 1,500, which is surprising because I think that game didn't sell crazy well. Guilty Gear Strive still going strong at 1,500, Grand Blue at 930, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 at 570, Under Night in Birth at 547, and we have Mortal Kombat 1 at 377, which is significantly lower than the top 5 games. Maybe I'll give some favoritism to Grand Blue being kind of low. So let's just say that the top 4 games, right? Very unimpressive numbers. You would assume that this is based on the relationships that Mortal Kombat and NRS has, like with these different platforms, that's the reason for the game still being in the tournament, right? But it seems that Mortal Kombat keeps finding ways to be in the conversation. Now, as you guys remember, they announced that there would be no more DLC for the game. We weren't getting Combat Pack 3. We weren't getting any more expansion. So we all kind of assumed that when the Pro Comp was done and EVO was done, that Mortal Kombat 1 would be pretty much dead in the water. And we were hoping to get an announcement, hopefully sometime in 2026, about what the next title is. Hoping that it would be a Mortal Kombat game from NRS. But it seems to be some more changes happening that we need to be aware of. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. If we go over to my next tab here, you can see from the Mortal Kombat official account, there's a tweet that says, we look forward to players. When was this tweet? This is July 22nd. This is July 23rd. I'm recording this. So this was actually just yesterday, around noon. So roughly about 26 hours ago or something like that, right? And so it says that we look forward to players showcasing their skills at the highest level at this year's EVO 25 tournament. Soon after, we will be releasing some exciting changes for Mortal Kombat 1. As always, we love to hear feedback from the community on potential changes, and stay tuned for more. Now, I didn't comment on this, but the wording of it caught my attention because when they say exciting changes, that doesn't necessarily speak to patch notes. I mean, obviously it's a patch, but usually when we talk patch notes, we talk balance changes. That's usually the verbiage and wording. This just says exciting changes and is very vague. So I wonder, what does this mean? I mean, we see that we have only 377 players in EVO, right? So that would lead me to think that the previously announced DLC and all that stuff being discontinued, I don't see that stuff changing. They're not focusing on balance changes in this tweet, so it doesn't really imply that this is more about competitive balance of the game. And since we're not getting any more DLC currently, as far as we know, you would think that balance changes would be the only thing worth doing. So I wonder, are we getting an announcement on a new game next year? Because it seems that this tweet implies it wants to keep the game alive. Now, what's my other reason for saying this? So Super made a video focusing on this as well, and he talked about Mortal Kombat 1 changing forever. Yeah, that's what he says. Mortal Kombat 1 will change forever. After EVO, we will most likely be getting our final patch for MK1. That's what Super says in his tweet. However, Ad Boom responds and says, next patch being final is highly unlikely. So it's really confusing because he's calling this a patch. Usually when we think patch, we think balancing. But when we come back to this tweet, it says exciting changes. What could be exciting about Mortal Kombat 1 right now? And I'm not saying this to bash the game. I'm genuinely asking, what changes would you guys think that could make the game exciting and not be more of the same? Because balance changes is still the same game to me. There's still cameos, and you know, the meta of the game is still what it is. So when you say exciting changes, I'm thinking, is there some type of overhaul that could be happening? And I guess my question is, why now? If we're not getting the Combat Pack 3 and we're not getting the next DLC expansion that was planned, why make exciting changes now? And a balance patch couldn't be that exciting. Like, there would be some excitement for competitive balance, but I don't see a balance patch change being that exciting. And if we're looking at the Evo numbers, and this is 377 players, then that will lead you to think that by the time next Evo rolls around and the next competitive season in the middle of 2026, Mortal Kombat probably shouldn't be a part of that, because the numbers are already dwindling in comparison to, like, you know, Street Fighter, that is clearly still thriving. Even Tekken is still thriving. The top 4 games are still thriving. You know, 1,500 players or more, that's a pretty good number regardless of the size of your game. Mortal Kombat not cracking 400, that doesn't lead us to think that there should be a competitive season next year. They should be focusing on the next game and the next announcement. So when I read the term exciting changes for Mortal Kombat 1, I wonder what could that be? Could that be a no cameo mode? And I remember talking about all this stuff in the past when we were getting the I think that was the new Sidebot release. I can't remember, it was quite some time ago, but I remember thinking that these things had a possibility back then. I fully accept that they aren't going to happen now. I don't play Mortal Kombat 1 that much anymore, so that's why I really don't bash on it. I just like to keep up with what they're doing in the scene as far as the competitive side of it, and also if the game's going to be adjusted in certain ways. So that's why this tweet caught my attention. But I'm wondering, honestly, as a fan of the overall franchise, but not as much of a fan of this game per se, what changes could bring me back to the game, unless it was like a massive overhaul. So if we're talking 2v2, possibly, you know, full tag. 1v1 couldn't really be exciting in this game because it seems that the characters are so vanilla because they made the cameo so important. So I don't think 1v1 could be an exciting change. And if you're just talking competitive balance patches, I don't know, you know, like it's almost a thing where it's like, what does this tweet mean exactly? When you read what Ed Boon says to Super in regards to the next patch being final is highly unlikely, that sounds like, okay, we're still working on this game. But we all kind of know, I don't want to use the term dead, because that's like, some people find that term to be disrespectful or derogatory. But the game isn't alive, I'll put it that way. It's not dead, but it's not alive and thriving. So when we get changes that are exciting, what could this mean? I'm curious what you guys think in the comments. What does this tweet mean? Like one thing that I've kind of gotten to a point when it comes to Mortal Kombat versus other games, and Tekken kind of had this too when they talked about the seasonal characters coming out. I'm kind of over cryptic marketing. I'm not really a fan of not knowing what things mean. We're spending our money, we're buying a product. I think I'm past the whole cryptic hidden messaging. Tell us what the fuck you're doing, tell us why you're doing it, tell us how much it costs, so we can decide if we want to invest or not. This whole thing about exciting changes and this is not the final patch, I just don't really think it means much. It kind of falls on deaf ears, right? It's no different than we're going to support this game for years to come, and we're in year 2 and this game is pseudo being supported. Like, it's not being supported, so they are being true to their word. But the DLC and the combat packs and all the things that would excite us as players and fans, that's not really happening either. So I'm very curious as to what this means, because it feels like Mortal Kombat wants to keep the attention on this game while not being really clear about what the direction is. Like, we're not getting any DLC, we're not getting any more combat packs. So wouldn't it make sense to kind of just focus on the next game and announce that? I'm sure they're already working on it, but it's like, why not get to a place of telling us what it is? We don't need to keep really beating the dead horse or milking this game dry. This game is what it is. And when you say exciting changes, the only thing that could be exciting for people who aren't already hardcore fans of the game would be like massive overhauls, and I just don't see that happening from a time, resources, and money perspective. Now, another thing that they're doing that I think is correct is they're focusing on the Legacy Collection, and I think that this might be playable soon. As a matter of fact, the dates are right here. So I'm recording this video on the 23rd. The Combat Tour 2025, powered by the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, it's actually got some information right here. Who's got next? Experience Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection at these upcoming events. Follow Digital Eclipse for the latest details on MKLK Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. So if we look down here, the titles that we have so far, and I think that there's and more, so there could be more titles. We have Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I don't really know why you would want both of those. I would rather just have Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Personally, I prefer a trilogy, but you know, tomato, tomato. I don't want to like be a nagger and a complainer, but we have Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which I think is like a wasted slot to have Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Then we have Mortal Kombat 4, which is the 3D era. Mortal Kombat Advance. I don't know what that is. That doesn't. Let's pull that up. What is Mortal Kombat Advance? Mortal Kombat Advance. What is that? I've never heard of that. Oh, it's a Game Boy. Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. I never like handhelds, so fuck Mortal Kombat Advance. I don't care about that. And then we have Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition. Okay, what's that? Because what game is that referencing when you say Tournament Edition? Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition. What is that? Oh, so more Game Boy shit. So okay, so essentially, the only games I would even care about in this entire pack is honestly Ultimate Mortal Kombat. I don't really want to go back to the Mortal Kombat 2 era. I did love Sub-Zero having ground ice. That was one of my favorite moves, but there's no combos in Mortal Kombat 2. And I'm to the point I enjoy fighting games with combos, so I wouldn't really want to go back to that. That's why I want a trilogy back. Mortal Kombat 4, I don't care much about that, but the dates are San Diego, California, San Diego Comic-Con, July 24th, 28th to the 28th. Then we have August the 1st to the 3rd at EVO in Vegas. And then we have August the 20th to the 24th at Gamescom in Germany. And then we wrap up with PAX West, August the 29th to September the 1st. So in the next month, you can play this game at 4 different events. Obviously, unless you have crazy ass money, you're not going to San Diego, California, Germany, and Seattle all in the next month. You also get a different pin at each show to pretty much show that you played that game at that event, which is pretty cool. That's nice and all, but besides the attention that's getting, I don't really understand what this tweet means, and I'm curious what you guys think it is. In the perfect world of me wishing, I would hope that it's 2v2, right? But that would be like a massive overhaul and would require money, time, and resources that I don't think that they're willing to invest into this game anymore. And so I don't really understand the direction of what we're doing right now, because people get excited about this stuff. People who love this game or love this franchise, they get excited about this. I love the franchise, but I don't love Mortal Kombat 1 for real. It's just not my cup of tea. When I go back and play Mortal Kombat 11, I still have fun. I think the characters just have a little more uniqueness to their skill sets in Mortal Kombat 11 versus in Mortal Kombat 1. They may get to do more combos, but because the combos are by way of the cameo, it's just not that exciting to me. So when you say exciting changes, I don't think balance patches can be exciting at this point. It has to be a massive overhaul. What could that be? Are you sticking true to the fact that you're not going to give us Combat Pack 3 and we're not getting any more DLC? Or have you for some reason had to change your heart and decide to drop that? And if you drop that, what does it cost? What does it cost in money? Is it worth it? You're not going to recoup that money because you didn't recoup that money in Chaos Reigns. So would that be worth it? So it's like this weird cryptic messaging that I'm kind of over, but I don't want to bash this game anymore. I've kind of gotten away from that. I'm just curious as to what things mean. What could be exciting if you're not giving us Combat Pack 3 and more DLC? Why would you give us that if Chaos Reigns didn't sell well? Are you going to make the game a 2v2 game full tag? And if you were to do that, does that include the base roster characters, or does that include the cameo characters getting even more moves to make it a full 2v2? Would you do 1v1? How exciting could 1v1 be when the characters are so dependent on the cameos? Like, because I don't know what this could possibly mean, I'm just kind of annoyed with the cryptic marketing of it all. Like, tell us what it means. Like Ed Boon saying on Super's tweet, this is not the final patch. Okay, that's cool, but what do you guys have in store for these patches? What are the ideas? Is it just competitive balance? Because with 377 players at EVO, you're not going to be able to ride the competitive wave much longer. You're going to have probably the rest of this calendar year, whatever you guys have slotted in regards to the Pro Comp and EVO and these type of events. But once 2026 comes, competitive scene for this shit is done. So I'm very curious as to what it means. And I'm not bashing, I'm just curious. In the comments, let me know what you guys think that it could be. What could be exciting going forward with Mortal Kombat 1 that would make you come back to the game or purchase anything else they may have in store? Because I don't see Combat Pack 3 coming. I don't see more DLC coming unless they break their word, which they already announced that that's not happening. So what could be exciting at this point? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And until the next time, I'll wrap this video up and talk to you guys on the next one. It's your boy Lou Streets. I'm out. Peace.
Round 1. Fight.